I'm Nick, and you're not having deja vu. This is a new case from Fantex called the Fantex XT V3, and it's coming in at around about $69 US or 109 Aussie dollars with 3 included fans. So let's do our usual thing. Let's take a bit of a closer look and we'll find out what makes this little MATX case tick.
This video is brought to you by VIPSCDKey.com. Have you ever installed Windows 11 only to see the watermark of death? You don't need to fork out a couple of $100s for a key. You can grab one from today's video sponsor, from VIPSCDKey.com for a tenth of the price. You can use our code GEAR to get 30% off for this month only. How good is that? That takes that already cheap Windows 11 key and makes it even cheaper. It's easy as placing your order. Bingo bango. You've got your new key on your orders page. You chuck that key into the activation screen and you're good to go. No more watermark of death. Use code GEAR to get 30% off for this month only. Link in the description. On with the video. Back to you, Nick.
Alrighty, here it is, the Fantex XT V3. This is an MATX case. As for the dimensions, it is 460 millimeters long, 235 millimeters wide, and 370 millimeters tall. To get inside, you'll have to remove the top panel. However, there are some screws that need to be removed, and there's labels on each of these side panels. And essentially, what you want to do is pop the top panel off from the back side. It's very easy to remove. And then you want to loosen the screws on both the front and the back side of the case. And then you can grab the edge of each of these side panels, both the TG and the metal back panel. Then you can pop the top corner out and then you can lift them up and then, wait for it, away from the case. Removing the front panel is optional. You'll need to remove 2 screws and then you'll want to slide that panel towards you and it kind of pops up and lifts up and then you can pull that away from the case. Finally, there is one more panel, which is for cable management, which you need to remove when building. Essentially, it hides all your cables. It's a single screw and then you can loosen that and then do what I did and let the panel fall away from the case. As for case wiring, we've got a USB Type-C cable. We've got a combined block with all the front panel lights and wiring. There's the front panel audio cable and then a USB Type-A cable. On the front panel itself, we have a power button with a combined power light, a USB Type-C port, a USB Type-A port, and a combined headphone and microphone jack. For storage on the XT-V3, there's 2 drive sleds. These are removable with a single screw. You'll notice that these are black. This just makes the case a bit cheaper for manufacturing. The one on the left can do 2 2.5-inch drives, and the one on the right can do a single 3.5-inch hard disk or spinning rust drive. The XT-V3 supports ITX and MATX motherboards, including back connector MATX boards. As you can see here, we use the B650M Project Zero board from MSI, because if it supports back connectors, I'm going to use a back connector board. Why wouldn't you? As for cooling and fan support, at the top of the XT V3, it supports up to a 360mm liquid cooler, as you can see here, or 3 120mm fans. On the rear of the case, it will support up to a single 120mm fan. And on the bottom of the case, there are 3 pre-installed reverse pitch fans. These are set to intake. There's also a dust filter underneath these fans, and this will also support any 120mm fan that you would decide to install at the bottom. But again, these 3 are included with the case. These fans are all daisy chained. They're all PWM daisy chained, and there's a 3-pin 5V addressable RGB cable as well as a JST connector if you wanted to connect up the RGB that way. Because the power supply in the V3 is mounted at the front, there is an extension cable. This is a standard IEC cable. The cable itself has a right-angled connector because you need to have that in order for it to work. And as you can see here, I've installed a regular ATX power supply. You can install SFX if you do have an adapter bracket, but they typically come with your power supply of choice. As for GPUs, there is a GPU support bracket. You can see here it's black. This is basically just to save some money. This bracket attaches next to the motherboard tray and can be moved up and down, and basically that's the only adjustment that is there for the bracket. As for GPU support, the maximum supported length in the XT-V3 is 430mm. Essentially, the entire inside of the case is available for GPU clearance. For cable management, this is a back connector build. I basically just plugged everything in and routed them where they should go. I didn't spend more than 6-7 minutes doing it. Yeah, there's also the bracket which hides all the cables that comes with the case too. That hides everything nicely. But look guys, that's everything I think you need to know about the Fantex XT V3, not the M3. Yeah, and we'll talk about thermals in a sec. You know how we do. Alrighty, let's take a look at the thermals for the Fantex XT V3. What you're seeing on your screen right now is the thermals are pretty darn good, especially for the 9800X3D, but more importantly, this graphics card. Now, the keen-eyed out there would have already noticed that I used something a little bit special. This is the new Project Zero 5070 Ti, and the main reason why I used this card for testing was I wanted to ascertain a couple things. First of all, I wanted to know what the deal was by addressing some of the comments that I saw when we first took a look at this, probably whenever, like last week or whatever it was. No one's tested this card. This card basically doesn't exist out on the internet at all. This is the first card of its kind out in the wild outside of MSI. And okay, that's a bit of a weird flex, but essentially some of the comments I saw were, hey, the heatsink is a little bit smaller and they had to cut out a bit for the power cables. It's gonna make the power cable really hot and, you know, because it's got less fin stack density, it's gonna make the GPU hotter. False, fake news, it's fine. The difference between this and the regular Ventus card is negligible. I'm gonna say probably 0.2%. It makes no difference whatsoever. So yeah, the GPU thermals in this are really good. And that's mainly because, as I mentioned, the bottom fans in this case are reverse pitch blades. And we've got 3 intake at the bottom, 3 exhaust out the top, and then 1 out the back. And yeah, I mean, that's it, right? Simple, quick maths. If you're interested in any of the hardware, it comes up on screen when I'm putting it all in the system, but there is a PC part pick list as well as some Amazon links. These are global links, so if you use those, guys, please, if you're considering buying any hardware from any of our videos, use those links. It does help support the channel because I need to buy cat food for the cat, right? How else? She has to pay her way somehow, and she pays her way through using Amazon links. Because you know cats, guys, they just sleep all day. They're not very energetic creatures. Anyways, what do I think about the design and construction of the Fantex XT V3? Well, this is classic Fantex, but you guys may remember a little brand, well, rather, it went through 2 names, Magnum Gear and Metallic Gear. This was a side brand for Fantex, which made cases of this level of quality. It's not to say that it's terrible, it's just not top tier Fantex stuff that we're used to seeing. And that kind of reflects with the price here. Again, this isn't a bad thing. This is a $69 US case with 3 included fans for intake on the bottom with back connector MATX support, as well as support for a 360mm liquid cooler at the top. And it's only $69. What more could you possibly want out of a case? Now, you could argue that, hey, if you're buying a case like this, why would you put like higher end hardware in it? The reality is, if you spend all of this money on your hardware, maybe you don't want to spend heaps of money on the case. Maybe you want something that is just good enough. And that's really what the Fantex XT V3 is. It's just good enough. The reality is, if you are buying high-end components for your system, let's say you got a 5090 and like some stupid high-end CPU, you could get a milk crate and like a hacksaw and make your own case, and then it would cost you whatever the cost of a milk crate is, and maybe milk crates are more expensive than computer cases. Maybe that's a bad analogy, but you get the idea, guys. It's really, really not that important with whatever case you decide to pick. But what I find interesting is that Fantex has really begun to embrace the back connector motherboards, and it's nice to see that one of their entry-level cases at $69 does have back connector support, and specifically back connector support for MATX. And the reason why I think this is the way it is, that's a couple is's. This case, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, is designed for system integrators. That's really where I see this case being used the most. There'll be mum and dad PC stores or big resellers using this to sell pre-builts. But you can obviously walk into any of those and buy this case for $69 or 109 Aussie dollars at the time of filming. And yes, ladies and gents and people of the world, it does include those 3 bottom fans as mentioned. Letting me know your thoughts. It's me, Nick. I said letting me. I don't know why I said it like that. You know, guys, the thing is, we don't script our videos like ever, unless it's like some crazy in-depth review with a million numbers. I'm freestyling from the top of my dome all the time. So sometimes I say things, sometimes I have flubs, and we leave them in. And you guys get to see the best of me at all times. And this is why I make videos like this as well. Let's go on a little side quest here. This is an interesting one. The reason why we make videos the way we do, and by we, I mean the way I talk to camera, is because this is just how I talk normally in person. And I feel like if I was to script everything and have a little clicker going through a teleprompter all the time like some other channels, that it just wouldn't feel like me. But I do script some things, but not very often. No shade on people who script their videos, mind you. It's just how I do it. I've got a really good gift for retaining information really quickly, and then I'll forget it tomorrow. Wow, this is me just like flexing for a whole 7.5 minutes as this clip rolls. This is funny. Usually I stand on my tippy toes like this to make myself feel taller, but today I'm like...
Why don't you just put the table down?
That would make sense. That would make way too much sense.